All right, so we are live. Give me 10 seconds, as always, to check that everything is okay, and then we will begin. Right, guys, thank you for coming here to attend the webinar on GSoC. Let me just check everything's okay and we're live. And if you can hear me, please type in yes, or if you need me to increase the volume, please say so. Just let me know if my voice is audible, and we'll begin with the topic. Okay, I think everything looks fine. So we can begin with um, the topic of the day. So Google Summer of Code. Now I know we did a webinar on this on my channel a while back, like I guess last week or maybe a week before that. But I received so many messages from students studying in first and second year to do a webinar on GSoC and really show everything, like how do you open the GitHub repository, how do you start contributing, how do you fix issues and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to see today. We'll again go through the presentation given by Google on the GSoC website, and we'll check out the website of Google Summer of Code. Then we'll dive into organizations. I'll also again share my proposal with you. I know I did this last week, but today it's going to be fresh and new. So if you're new to the channel, then please subscribe, and that's pretty much it. Let's begin. Okay, let's begin. And I know you, some of you will get bored because we've done it so many times. I've made so many videos on GSoC, but that's all right. Let's go. So guys, what is Google Summer of Code? Google Summer of Code, first thing that comes to your mind, it's an open source program. And also last time we did this webinar in Hindi, so this time we're doing it in English. I hope that works for everyone. So the first thing that comes to your mind when about Google Summer of Code is that it is related to open source, right? Now, what is open source? You can see this definition that's given on the presentation. Computer software where the source code is distributed under an open source license that allows anyone to study, change, improve, and distribute the software. Now, blah blah stuff. Okay, but what open source really means is the whole process of a software whose source code is publicly available, and people from around the world collaborate to make changes to improve the software or to distribute it, right? It's not the software that's open source, it's this whole sort of process, you can say. Okay, this whole system. And GSoC was obviously started to promote open source. Yeah, right. It's a community of developers, and that's the main crux of Google Summer of Code. They started this with in mind that they want to make more and more students aware about what open source is, and also sort of prepare this program where you get paid for your work. Because generally, open source is not it doesn't revolve around incentives, right? It's a good thing to do. I mean, it's open source, so it's free. Okay, and if you want to know more about what is free source, what is open source, what is closed source, then I did a webinar with Progate, I guess. It's on my YouTube channel. Check that out after this webinar, right? But for now, that's all you need to know: what is open source and what is Google Summer of Code. Next, again, this thing, it's a GSoC is a program. It's a 3 months program. People from different colleges apply, and you have to be a college student, undergrad or graduate, to be able to be eligible to participate. And also, one of the questions that I get a lot: how many times can you participate in Google Summer of Code? So it's written on the website that you can, if you participated once, then you can participate only one more time. I guess better way to put it would be you can participate only 2 times. So keep that in mind. If you get rejected, then you can apply again, and you can again participate 2 times. But once you get selected, then you can apply only one more time. All right. Okay. Wow, we're talking about applying again where we haven't even started yet. That's all right. So again, basic stuff, what GSoC is, goals of the program is to motivate students. Guys, this part is boring, but hang on. Let's just cover, I guess, 3-4 more slides, and then we'll move on to the GSoC website, and that's going to be interesting. Okay, so these are the goals: motivate students to begin participating in open source development, and provide students in CS and related fields the opportunity to do work related to their academic pursuits. And now, one thing, you don't have to be doing an undergraduation or a degree in computer science. Like, that's not a requirement. Okay, if whatever you're doing, if you're interested in coding, and if you really want to give it a try, then you can participate. You don't have to show a proof. I mean, you do have to show a proof that you're a student, but if you're doing something else like electrical or some field like that, then you can still participate. Okay, there's also one of the questions: when does GSoC happen? uh, okay, so GSoC happens in, wait, when does it happen? Okay, I'm sorry. It happens in May. It actually starts in, the whole process starts in February, when organizations are selected, and then students submit the proposals. Then proposals are selected, and then the results are announced. And then there's community bonding period. We'll see the timeline of when we check out the Google Summer of Code website. Okay, so give me a few minutes. We'll see the timeline and we'll talk about everything. Yeah, it has a timeline, right, sort of. So we'll check out the timeline now. Okay, we'll check out the timeline. Just three more slides. So how does GSoC work? Now, as I said, first organizations apply to participate in Google Summer of Code. Google selects the organizations, and then students submit proposals to those mentor organizations, and then those proposals are selected, right? And when they are selected, then students are paired with their mentor in the organization, and then there's community bonding period, and then the coding begins. Okay, pretty basic stuff. We'll see the timeline. Don't worry, we'll see the timeline. We'll talk about everything after 3 slides. So here are, okay, so this is about evaluations. Now, let me tell you a bit about evaluations. To successfully complete Google Summer of Code, you have to pass 3 evaluations. What evaluations are? They're basically sort of a review of the work that you've done. And if you're doing good work, then you'll pass the evaluations. If you've done the work that you proposed to do, you'll pass the evaluations. But there are some students who really take it too easy and they don't do that much work. When evaluation date is coming, then they try to submit their code and they end up ruining everything. But we'll talk about that as well, evaluations, in a bit. So give me 2 more minutes. Now, this is the eligibility. You have to be over 18 upon registration, and you have to be a student. You have to be eligible to work in the country in which you reside. So we can't apply for GSoC in 2020. No, you cannot. I mean, GSoC 2020 has already started, right? You have to apply in March. You have to submit the proposal in March. So it's currently going on. But what you can do is, why you're here, why this is not a waste of your time, is because now, if you know how to go about it, how to prepare for it, then you'll be able to crack GSoC in 2021. Okay, so that's why I'm doing this webinar, so that you guys can prepare in advance. And it's pretty easy, man. People think that Google Summer of Code is really this tough thing, and it's actually not. I'll tell you to begin contributing in November, but I started contributing in March, like just 30 days. I mean, a few 25 days before submitting the proposal. So trust me when I say it's not difficult at all, and it's super easy. Okay, and we'll talk about how you can get started, how you can contribute. And as I said, see, if you participated in no more than one previous GSoC, that means you can participate 2 times in Google Summer of Code. What else? Now, this is some stats. As you can see, India has most number of students participating in Google Summer of Code, because they give you how much? It's, I guess, $3,000 this year. I'm not sure, but they give you around 200 to 300. Sorry, 2,000 to $3,000 for the 3 months. And that's pretty good amount being a college student, right? That's pretty cool, and that's the reason why you see so many Indians. Just kidding. Okay, what else? Now, these are some of the links, and I guess I put the links in the description as well, to my proposal, to, I guess, to my Google Summer of Code articles. And I also have a playlist where I've put out videos on writing proposals, selecting organizations. So you can check that out, right? It's in the description. All the links, not now, just after we finish this session. All right. Now let's just go ahead and we'll talk about timeline when we see the website, right? So let's switch to the website. Okay, let's switch to the website. Give me 1 second. I mean, 10, 20 seconds. Okay, we'll switch to the websites. I'll share with you the screen. Give me 1 minute. Chrome tab, and yes, here's the Google Summer of Code website. I hope you can see it. Yeah. Okay, so this is the Google Summer of Code website. Now, first thing that you see, how much is it? It's 36 million plus lines of code, whatever. What we need to know is that Google Summer of Code is an open source program. I mean, it's a program that revolves around open source where organizations participate and students contribute to their open source code or their project, right? And it is a 3 months program. You can do it during your summer vacations or time around that. Is 6 months enough to prepare for GSoC starting from now? 6 months is more than enough, dude. More than enough. I mean, why I tell people to start contributing to Google Summer of Code to open source projects a few months in advance is because you can sort of maintain an image in front of the mentors, and if the mentors know your name, if they remember your name, you'll easily get selected. Okay, it's not tough at all. But yeah, it depends. Like if you're just starting out with coding, if you have no idea what coding is, what development field you want to get in, then it's going to be a little tough, because 3 months you'll put into learning those skills. Then for 3 months you'll get into development, and then after those 6 months you'll think about doing an internship and starting uh, with Google Summer of Code. But yeah, I guess 6 months are enough. If you know basic coding, just build some projects and try to do an internship so that you know what it's like to work on industry level projects, and then you can easily crack Google Summer of Code. Okay, now I guess we'll check out the timeline. So let's click on view the whole timeline. I hope you can see it. Yep. Yeah, so look, in January 15, the organization applications open. It's not for you, but we're going through it, so let's just start from the top. So on January 15, the applications open, and it's not the same every year, plus minus 20 days. Okay, it's not the same every year, but this is the 2020 plan. And then on February 6th, that's the organization application deadline. That is the mentor organizations. They submit their proposals to participate in Google Summer of Code. And then around February 20th, organizations are announced. Now, when the organizations are announced, it's students' job to go ahead and figure out what organization they really want to contribute to. Okay. And then the student application period was March 16th to 31st. And again, I'll repeat it. It stays the same, plus minus 10, 20 days, but it's every year. This is the timeline. Okay. More or less, this is the timeline. And so between these 15 days, students submit their proposals, and then the application review period where the organizations review and select student projects, student proposals. And then on May 4th, the projects were announced, the selected projects. Okay, and this is the result of the proposal submission. Now, if you're really new to Google Summer of Code, let me tell you, there's two parts to Google Summer of Code. One, getting your proposal accepted, and two, successfully completing Google Summer of Code. Okay, to successfully complete Google Summer of Code, you have to pass all the three evaluations, which we'll talk about next. Okay, and then if the projects were announced on 4th May, and after that, all students can share on social media, LinkedIn. I mean, your LinkedIn will be flooded with GSoC posts. Okay, it happens. Then there's community bonding period from May 4th to June 1. So basically, roughly 3-4 weeks. And in this period, what you have to do is you have to talk to your organization, talk with other team members in your organization, try to understand the project better, and try to make the actual plan. Like in your proposal, you do have to share deadlines. Okay, a timeline that from this week to this week I'll work on this feature, from this week to this week I'll work on that feature. But then once you're selected during the community bonding period, you have to make the plan again for the first evaluation. Okay, that the plan that is submitted in the proposal, that's just a rough idea, the rough outline. But now you have to make a realistic plan. You'll have to talk to your mentors and cook up the plan so that you successfully complete the first evaluation doing the amount of work that you guys plan. Okay. So after that, there's the coding begins, the fun begins when students code their summers away. So June 1 to August 24th. Wow, that's a long time. Okay, I thought it's the first evaluation, but okay. So there are three evaluations. As you can see, the first evaluation will be on June 29th. So 1 month of coding, and then there's one evaluation. Okay. And then there's a second month of coding, and then there'll be evaluation on July 27th. And then the final phase, and then the final evaluation will be on August 24th. Okay, you can see it right here on the screen. You can read it if you want to understand it better. But that's it. And then finally, the mentors they go through your work, the work that you've done throughout the summers, and then they decide whether or not you should pass or fail in the project in Google Summer of Code. And with each evaluation that you pass, you get a certain amount of stipend. Okay, like at my time it was like 60,000 rupees after first evaluation, 60,000 rupees after second evaluation, and then 80,000 when I complete the program, the whole program successfully. Okay, so that's the rough timeline. That's how it goes every single year. There's nothing different. And then the results will be announced this year. I mean, for 2020 edition, the results will be announced on September 8th. And as it's written, students are notified of the pass fail status of their GSoC 2020 projects. Okay, so I hope everything's cool till here, right? Everyone doing fine. Are there sufficient projects on ML in GSoC? Shreyans, you'll have to check that out for yourself. But if you compare it to web or Android, then obviously there are not that many projects. But definitely you can find a lot of projects in Python. Almost all organizations use Python in some project or the other. So you'll have to check it out. Okay, but there are projects. So if you're doing ML, then just stay active. I mean, check out the organizations that have projects in the field of machine learning and start contributing. That's what I would say. Okay, what else? What else? What else? We've seen the timeline. We've talked about everything: students, you guys, organizations, the mentor organizations, mentors, your mentors in those organizations. Okay, simple stuff. Now, next, let's check out the organization or proposal writing. Guys, what say? Do you want to do proposal writing first, how to write proposal, or do you want to check out organizations? Let me know. Type it in the comments. We'll do whatever you want to do. So do we check out the organizations first, or do we see the proposal writing? I'll share with you the proposal, and we'll go through the proposal that got selected in Google Summer of Code 2019. And also, for those of you that don't know, I worked with Amahi. It's an organization, sort of like Dropbox. That's what they do. And I worked on their iOS app in Google Summer of Code 2019. Okay. All right. So proposal writing. Okay. Proposal writing. Let's check it out. Let me open the proposal. I'll share with you my proposal that got selected in GSoC. Give me a few seconds. Okay. And the proposal that I'll share with you, this sort of remains the same. Like, you don't have to make really something too different. The template, it more or less remains the same for all organizations, but it's good to follow the template that your organization specifies you to follow. Okay, now this is my proposal. As you can see, oh, some people are already in here. Okay, that's all right. So as you can see, this is the proposal. If you don't have the editing access, then just let me know. Just send me the access request, and you can edit it and make your own proposal. All right. Now this is my proposal. Let's begin. GitHub IRC. If you don't know IRC, it's the public channel where you can chat with your organization. Okay. And then there's my email address, town, country, and then the title, Amahi GSoC 2019 proposal, and then the project title, like what the project is about. So my project was an enhancement to Amahi iOS project. And then you can see, okay, wait, hang on, what's going on in the chat? Everyone's saying, okay, we have equal votes for proposal. So let's just do proposal first. We'll then go, we'll then check out the organizations. So look, very basic stuff. When you write your proposal, the first thing you have to do is give a short abstract. Okay. a short abstract where you just give a short summary of the features that you're going to be working on. Okay, and this is something that either your organization will have on their website, like they'll have it on their website, like these are the projects and these are some of the features that you can work on, or you can propose your own ideas. But if you're proposing your own ideas, then make sure that you've discussed those with your mentors, because it might so happen that your idea, maybe it's not a priority for them, or maybe they've thought about it but they've already dropped that project. Okay, so make sure that you discuss with your mentors whatever you want to do, right? Okay, so as you can see, I proposed these features: Chromecast support, multimedia players, display recent files, upload delete files, friending function, second user login. And even though I didn't do these last two things during the GSoC period because there was no time left, but we'll talk about it later. Now, all right, I hope this is clear. Abstract, very basic. Then let's move down to description. Now, see, you've given the abstract. So the first thing I said was Chromecast support. Okay, and then in the description, what we have to do is you have to write about that particular feature. So as you can see, I've written, I will integrate Google Cast SDK in the app, which allows user to stream multimedia on screens directly from their Chromecast enabled app. Okay, and this is not this is these are just designs. These are not real screenshots of the features that I implemented. Okay, these are just some of the designs which I proposed, that if I do this feature, if I integrate this SDK, then this is what it will look like, the UI. Okay, so this is what I proposed, the photo. So this is a good way of proposal writing. In your description, add a photo, of the UI of whatever you're working on. Okay, and then you can also add the issue, like on the Mahi repository. This issue was already open, adding the Chromecast support. So I put it right here, and then as you can see, I've written the actual lines of code that this is what it will take to implement those features. Okay, now this is really good. If you attach these lines of code, it's really good because this makes the mentors feel like, okay, this guy knows what they want to do. Okay, this person knows how to actually implement the thing that you're proposing. So I always suggest add screenshots, photos as in as many places as you can. Add the lines of code. Now these don't have to be exact lines of code. Obviously, they'll be it's going to be different, right? But this is just sample lines of code which you can easily find on the web. So that's it. Now adding a cast button, blah blah stuff like that. Now let's keep scrolling. Now these are all the descriptions. The second feature that I proposed was video player. So these are the sort of designs of that. And also, you don't have to use Photoshop or any advanced editing apps, Figma, Sketch, or anything. You can use Canva, or in fact, for this, I use the Pages application on my MacBook. Like, can you believe it? I just use Pages application. I put different things, and then I took a screenshot, cropped it out, and put it there. So you won't take any time, but just think of what you really want to implement and how it will look like. Okay, so that's it. I'll just scroll through. Look at this music player. Now, again, as I said, see, what you propose is not actually what you will have to do. Okay, it's not exactly what you will have to do. Like, as you can see in this music player, this is the UI that I proposed. But then the other guy that was working on iOS in my organization, he came up with a really good UI, right? So we implemented that. And that is why you have to talk to your mentors before each evaluation, before each phase of Google Summer of Code starts, that I'll work on this, and this is the exact thing that we will do, and this is how we should do it. All right. Now, again, keep scrolling. You can see I've added the lines of code, recent files. This was a internal sort of database that I made using, what did I use? I used core data. It's something in iOS, a framework in iOS, and then upload delete functionality. So yeah, let's just scroll through it. These are some of the features, and then the main thing that I was talking about, the timeline. Okay, this is the timeline where you say that, okay, in the community bonding period, this is what I will do. I'll make sample apps to build and implement functionalities, blah blah, and I'll discuss with mentors and put together precise components of my proposal and include the necessary changes. And then you can see in week one, I've mentioned the dates, like from this date to this date, the first week, I'll work on these features: music player, video player, and then in week two, I'll integrate Chromecast. Okay, so this is what you have to do. This sort of this timeline, this rough timeline, you have to put it there in your proposal. And then you can see I've mentioned first evaluation, and then after first evaluation, I'll work on these features and blah blah. Then final evaluation. Pretty easy stuff. It's nothing too complicated. And then I've added the links to uh, the websites or the documents that I used while writing the proposal. And after that, I've added experience in education and why I would be right fit for this. Okay, and these are some of the iOS experiences that I had before doing GSoC. And then these are the contributions that I made. Now, see, why will they select you? How will they decide whether they should select person A or person B? It just cannot be on the basis of their resume. It cannot be on the basis of their college. In fact, college doesn't even matter. Okay, it cannot be on the basis of your GitHub profile alone. So for that, you have to do these contributions. You have to contribute to the organizations so that they know that, okay, this guy can actually do work and we should select them. Okay, I hope it makes sense. So as you can see, showing files in file apps and iTunes, showing basic stuff, thumbnail previews. Now this was a big thing that I worked on. Like this was one of the things that they asked us to work on during the Google Summer of Code coding period, but I did it in advance, and I guess this was one of the major contributions. And then others are just simple contributions. Let's scroll through. And then finally, you have to mention any other commitments, anything else that you will be busy with during Google Summer of Code. Okay, so as I've written right here, I was writing a book. I've canceled the contract now, but I was writing a book back then, and then I had to go to Bangalore to attend Swift India conference. So I mentioned everything. Okay, I've also mentioned that I'll take my finals during the community bonding period, so I'll not be able to put in more than 6 hours daily. But once that is over, I'll put in 10 to 12 hours on a daily basis. Okay, and then I have no other obligations, and I'll work full time. So this proposal, it remains same for all organizations. The template will be different, but these are the things that every single person in every organization will have to include in the proposal. Make sure it's not too short. I've seen people with 6 pages proposals. That's just too less. And 6 pages will just take the timeline space. So make sure it's like 8 to 16, or if it's a really complicated project, then 8 to 20 pages, but not more than that, and not less than 6 or 6. Okay, keep this in mind. So that's it, man. If do you have any questions related to proposal, go ahead and ask the question. And see, I hope this is better. Like people messaged me in my previous webinars. People have told that, why do you take questions at the end? I mean, people get bored. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm taking every single question right during the webinar, like in between. Will not wait till the end. If you have any questions, just drop them and we'll talk about it. Okay. How to add photos without having the actual thing? You have to design it, man. You have to design it. You don't have to make the actual thing. If you want to, you can. Okay, but obviously you won't have that much time. You won't have that much time. So just design a rough UI and share it. And rough UI and rough lines of code. It doesn't have to be exactly precise, though of course it should be error free. Don't just write whatever you find on the internet. Okay. Next, what were some of the first issues that you fixed and how difficult were they for you? So I remember the first issue that I fixed. It was you see in login pages, when you on the keyboard, when you let's say put in your username and then you press return, it brings you down to the password text field, right? So that's a very basic feature. Like when you're pressing return, it should come down. It should move on to the next text field, and that was the first issue I guess I worked on. It was very basic, very minor contribution, but then I worked on. As you can see, I have the contributions right here. Let me show you. Where are they? Yeah, I guess right here. So look, next button returns to password text field. Such a basic contribution. That is why I put it in the end. Like I didn't put it up there. And then as you can see, some of the other things that I worked on before starting Google Summer of Code is this double tap recognizer. So like in YouTube, on YouTube, when you double tap on the left or right portion of the screen, it moves 15 seconds forward or backward. That's what I worked on. And then volume change on swipe. So when you swipe on the screen, it changes the volume. And then thumbnail previews was like, you see on YouTube app, there's thumbnails to videos. So that's what I worked on. And then showing files in Files app and iTunes sharing. Now this is related to Apple, so most of you won't understand what I'll talk about. So let's just leave it. But I hope that answers, man. So see, we have to start with very basic issues. You don't have to go ahead and do really complex contributions. Start with the basics and you'll be fine. Okay, and now if you have any questions, write them down. And yeah, first, guys, let me know who is new to the channel, who is here for the first time. Type in yes if you're on this channel for the first time. I do so many webinars, I guess every single week, and every single Sunday we interview someone from one of the FANG companies or related companies. So we do a lot of stuff, though I've been a little inactive lately because I'm a little busy. I didn't tell you guys about me. So if you're new, then just look in the description if you want to know what I do, right? Though I can tell you a little bit. I run a company called Verved. I'm founder and CEO of Verved, and I'm a TEDx speaker. And I recently won the award 40 under 40 most influential Indian, top 50 tech leaders, young entrepreneur, blah blah. And and I'm also one of the 6 Google Venkat scholars of the last edition. And currently, I shifted from iOS to product management field. That's pretty much about me. And I invest in early stage companies, and I do some things in e-com world. Okay, I forgot. I always begin with an introduction, but I forgot it. I'm sorry. That's okay. So yeah, tell me if you're new. Who is new to the channel? Yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness, so many yeses. So guys, if you're new, I'm gonna ask you to do something before we move on, right? It'll be for your own benefit. Wait, hang on. My screen is okay. It was stuck. Never mind. So I'm gonna need you to do something. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Okay, there's going to be so much content, and you can check out on my channel. I have like, I guess 5 videos or maybe 6 videos on Google Summer of Code. There's a whole playlist. I have a video on LinkedIn on resume building, right? The recruiters, they spend 6 seconds to Tanmesh Abhishek flexing on us inspiration. Man, I mean, I heard this quote a few, I guess in my first year, like do things in life when until the point comes when you introduce yourself, it sounds like you're flexing. Just a stupid quote, but yeah. Okay, never mind. So yeah, guys, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon because every single Sunday we interview someone who's doing really good in the tech space. Every single Saturday we do webinars, and also I start doing Instagram live. So for that, make sure that you follow me on Instagram at iSwiftShake. Okay, but I guess enough with the uh, commercials. Enough with these things. Let's just move on to organizations. Okay, I hope everyone has subscribed. If you're new, subscribe now. Okay, I don't want you to miss out on the content that I'll be putting out in the upcoming future, in the near future. All right, so let's begin, man. Let's begin. Let's continue with the topic of the day, which is Google Summer of Code. So that's my proposal. The link to my proposal is in the description if you want to check it out. Okay, the link is in the description. As you can see, it's right here. Link to my GSoC proposal, it's given. I've also added the links to my articles on Medium. I've added links to my Quora answers related to Google Summer of Code. So please go ahead and check them out. Okay. All right. Questions. Should we learn the technology in which you are interested in and want to build something, or some tech which will... All right, so I've talked about this before as well, but I'll repeat it for you guys that are new. Don't do something just to get into a small program. Okay, GSoC is just a program. Like, you have your whole career. So I've seen students ask me, "Bhaiya, just tell me one thing that I need to learn to get into GSoC." please don't do it. Find your interests, find what field you're passionate about, and do things in that field, develop your skills in that field, and then check out if there are projects in that field in Google Summer of Code. Okay, don't prepare with GSoC in mind. Like, just prepare on developing your skills, and when the right time comes, then start contributing to GSoC if you find good projects. Okay, there is also something really important. Students just start contributing to any project, but then later on they find out that they are not really interested in it, and then they give up on it, they fail in the evaluations. Okay, so I was in this confusion in 2019. There were two organizations, Rocket Chat and Amahi, in iOS. So I didn't know which one to begin with. So what I did was I went to both the organizations community channels, and then I just saw the environment. Okay, and in Rocket Chat it was sort of really competitive, though I love competition, but it was really not that cool. Okay, but then I started contributing to Amahi, and I just didn't know when 10 days passed and I had done three contributions, and then I just didn't look back. I was really enjoying working on Amahi, and that's how I got in. Okay. So I hope that clears your question. Don't do anything just for GSoC. Do what you're passionate about, and see if you can find some projects in Google Summer of Code. Okay. I'm sorry, I got distracted. What is the future of reinforcement learning? It's bright. It's so bright. Reinforcement learning. And next is, please tell some open source companies. Man, I don't really know by name any specific projects or organizations working in specific fields, right? I'm not aware of that. I can tell you iOS, since iOS is my field. I can tell you Android because I also did a few things in Android. I can tell you for web. Okay, but if there's any other fields like cloud or whatever you're interested in, ML, reinforcement learning, whatever you're interested in, what you have to do is just open Google and type in the field that you're interested in, and then add the terms open source organization or open source projects. Okay, this is what you have to do. Just type in open source projects in whatever field. Open source projects in ML, open source projects in AI. Type it in and look it up. Right, that's the point where you should begin, and I hope that helps. I told the same thing in my previous webinar. Don't really worry about you cannot find organizations. There are a lot of organizations in open source, maybe not in Google Summer of Code, because not all organizations participate in GSoC, but there are some other organizations as well, and they will give you a really good idea on how this works, open source world, right? How you should sort of contribute, how you should work on things, how you should communicate with other people, how you should work with other people, how you should use GitHub, and things like that. Okay, next. How to find project on GitHub for contribution. Again, I guess I answered the same thing just 5 seconds back. So what you do is, if you want to go GSoC specific, then what I would tell you is, you go to, okay, let's just check it out, man. Give me 5 seconds. I'll open the Google Summer of Code website and I'll tell you how you have to go about it. Right. So let's dive into this topic. I'll take the following. I'll take the other questions in a bit. Give me a few seconds, and yeah, give me a few seconds. Let me share with you the website, Google Summer of Code website, and now we'll see how you can select projects, right? How do you look for projects? Wait, where is it? Yeah, right here. I hope you can see it. I hope you can see it. Yeah. Okay. So let's click on organizations, and look, these are the organizations that I believe are participating in this year, 2020. Here's my home organization, Amahi, and you can see all the other organizations, right? There's iOS and Android projects in Aussie as well, and you can check out the organizations. But what I need you to do is go to Google Archive, oh sorry, GSoC Archive. Okay, GSoC Archive. Oh shit. Yeah, I'm sorry. archive. Go to GSoC archive and open it up. Let's see, let's see 2019 projects. Okay, so look here, you can scroll down and see 2019 projects. Let's go through them. View 2019. And now this is how you should go about selecting organizations in GSoC. Now, people ask, how do you select an organization, right? How do you know which organization is right for you? So this is how you do it. First, keep in mind, not all organizations participate every single year. Like FOSS Asia, they used to participate consistently, but this year they didn't participate. Okay, now that's an exceptional case, because generally, if an organization participates for, um, let's say what 2 3 years consistently, then they're going to come back again. Okay, but there can be exceptions, which is why you should have minimum two organizations in mind when you're going about Google Summer of Code. Okay, so yeah, let's see, man. So what you do is you go to archive. Now we're in 2019, you go to 2017, 2018, and see which organization has consistently participated in all these years. Because if an organization has participated for 2 3 times, then they're going to participate in 2021 as well. Okay, so let's just scroll down. See, now Amahi is there. Let's open up Amahi. I'll tell you with Amahi's repository, like all about the GitHub repository and the project. So look, when you open an organization, you can see this is what Amahi is. Okay, and now how do you figure out if this organization has the projects in your field of work? So for that, look at this space, technologies. Now I was into iOS when in 2019, back when I did GSoC. So what I saw was, okay, technologies, iOS, fine, cool. That means this, maybe it works. It has projects in the iOS space. Now once I see iOS, what I'll do is I'll click on view ideas list, or actually, hang on, I guess it will open in another page. So let me switch to that. Let me switch to that real quick. Hang on. Share screen, Chrome tab, and okay, yeah, right here. I hope you can see it. Yeah, I hope you can see it. Because I'll take the questions in a bit. Okay, just let me cover this thing. So as you can see for Mahi, they have this page where they have actually given the Google Summer of Code ideas. Like these are some of the things that you can work on. So let's scroll down. Now these are some good tips, what to do, what not to do. And here you can see list of projects. So in Amahi, there are these projects, plugin apps, Disk Wizard, blah, blah. In mobile apps, you have iOS app, Android app, and you can see these are the features that they want you guys to work on. Okay. And now if you remember from my proposal, these were the projects, these were the exact things that I proposed, except for thumbnail previews. And then I added two things of my own. Okay. Thumbnail previews because I had already worked on it. And then you can see skills required, iOS and Swift. Now that's the point. Boom. This is the project for me. Okay. This is the project for me because I used to do iOS and I used to work with Swift programming language. All right. Now, as you can see, Android apps, all the other apps. Now, for most of the organizations or the good ones, you will find such a page where you have the project list. Okay, or you can just ask them, can I see the idea list or something like that. All right, let me take some questions. Kotlin for mobile app development. What are your views? Can Kotlin be used to develop iOS apps? Flutter versus Kotlin. What to learn? Oh man. Okay, so Kotlin, I'll give you my personal opinion on this. Don't generalize it. I am not a big fan of cross-platform technologies of Kotlin or Flutter or frameworks like that. I'm not the biggest fan because I used to work in native and I know the power of native. There are some things that Flutter and Kotlin cannot do. I mean, sorry, Flutter cannot do. Kotlin is specifically for Android. I'm sorry, Kotlin is for both Android and iOS. So yeah, on Kotlin, my view is it's amazing. Like Java, I've seen companies, Java is a thing of past. Like in a few years, Java is going to go away. Okay. Now that's a bold statement to put out, but trust me, man, if you're doing Java, then please start learning Kotlin because it's the new thing, right? and you have to be up to date with whatever's new in the market, whatever's new in the industry. So that's what I would say. Kotlin is great. If you're doing Android, start with Kotlin. Learn Kotlin if you're interested in Android. And then Flutter. For Flutter, I'll just say one thing: do Flutter, and if you enjoy it, dive further into it. And if you really enjoy it, then you can think about making a career in it. Me personally, I don't like Flutter, right? I'm a fan of native platforms, native Android or native iOS. But Flutter, again, it's an amazing framework. I've actually attended this session by Google. We had a meeting a few days back. I cannot tell you much details, but they do have great plans for Flutter. Okay, and it is promising. You will be able to develop a good career in it. But again, keep in mind that you're not doing only Flutter. If you're doing Flutter, make sure you're doing native as well. Make sure you're doing a little bit of React Native as well. Okay, because if you know just Flutter, you're of no use to any company. No one will hire you. So you have to have a broad set of skills. And yeah, that's all I'll say on that. Wait, I missed this question. Can Kotlin be used to develop iOS apps? No, Kotlin is just for Android. You cannot make iOS apps. In which year of college you did your first GSoC? So I did GSoC in, oh, was it second year? Let me see, 2019. So now it's 2020 and I'm in third year. So yeah, I did it in second year. Yes. I'm a newbie at Django. Is Europe the org for me? Man, look, how you can figure out if the organization is for you. Again, go to their project, open up their GitHub repository, try to understand it. Okay. Sideload the app, or if it's something else, just download the project and try to understand it. Try to understand the code base. If you're able to understand even 20-30% of it, that means you're good. That means you can focus more on it, you can spend more time on it, or you can learn a few more things and you can work on the project. Okay, so that's what I would say. You have to check it for yourself. I mean, you won't know until you don't try. So go ahead, check out the GitHub repository, open it up, and check it out if you're able to understand some of the code base. When you start coding, when did I start coding? I hope that's the question. So I started coding in grade 11. Yeah, I guess grade 11. So I was in the school where they had CBSE, and they had C++, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I did the basic stuff in school, 11th and 12th, but just the basics, not real coding or development. And after that, I did two courses, Java and C++ at Coding Blocks, right? But then I dived into iOS, which was not at all related to whatever I'd done before. So I would say I started coding in first year itself. Okay, that's what I would say. Do I need to give some new idea in our proposal? It's not necessary. If the organizations have an ideas list, and if you like them, if you like to work on them, then go ahead and propose that. But if you have any new idea, just talk about it with your mentor. Okay, it's a good thing. In fact, if you're proposing something that's original, it's a good thing. But again, as I said a few minutes back, maybe it might not be a priority for the organization. Okay, like I wanted to work on this feature of dark theme, right? In the iOS app, I want to work on dark light theme feature, but they said we've already had discussion on it and we are not planning on doing it. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll not put it in my proposal. So talk to your mentors and see if they like your idea, and if they tell you, okay, this is something that we could do, then write your proposal. Then write your proposal on that idea. Okay, I read one answer of GSoC and Quora. He advised to not prefer new organization. Why? Okay, I'll give you the reason. Because see, new organizations, clearly new means they are new. That means they are small. That means there are less people in the community. And if there are less people in the community, then there's going to be issues. Like you cannot really, one, it's going to be tough. If a project is new, you have to build it from the very base. Okay, and if you have to build the base strong. If there's a existing project, then you can just put in features, right? But for new projects, you have to build the base yourself. And also, again, about the community, for old organizations like FOSS Asia, Mozilla, right? Organizations like that, they have a huge community where there's a lot of people. So if you're stuck, you can ask for help, right? If you want to talk about some feature, you can really talk to them, you can talk to anyone in the community. And it's okay. I mean, it's also easy to get into new organizations. Why? Because most of the people, they prefer the organizations that have had a strong record in participating in Google Summer of Code, of participating in Google Summer of Code. I can't speak. Okay, GSoC for web development. Yeah, what about it? You can do web development in GSoC. I have problems. Okay, this is a good comment. I have problem understanding their code. So I've talked about it a lot of times. I have made a video on it as well. So if you're new, please subscribe and check those out after this session, after this webinar. But if you have problems understanding the code of open source project, that means you're at the right place. Why? Because see, open source projects, there's people around from around the world contributing to them. So a lot of times they can seem overwhelming. Okay, they can seem, you'll be like, oh my goodness, I cannot understand this. Also, they'll be really, really big and complex. Like there'll be hundreds of classes, hundreds of modules. So what I always suggest is go with the flow of the execution of the project, right? So if it's an application, start with the login screen and then go ahead with what happens after login. Okay, so to begin with, check out the module that is, or that is the check out the module that is corresponding to the login screen, and then check out the modules that depend on it, that are somehow interrelated. Like there's a register button, so when you click on register button, the register screen opens. So then what you do is after login, you check out the register class and then the login class. Try to understand it and then keep moving. And also, it's okay to not understand things. I still don't know how Amahi fully functions. I've done GSoC, it's been what, a few months, and I still don't know how Amahi fully functions, which is fine. You just need to know the thing that you're working on in the moment. Okay, I hope that gives you. So again, break down the big whatever the idea, the project into small fragments and try to understand each of the fragment. When you understand all these different fragments, then you can combine them and really sort of get the idea of what's going on in the project. So I hope that answers your question. Now, okay, what were we talking about? Yeah, let's get back to the this page. So let me open up the iOS repository. Look, Amahi iOS app repository. Let's open it and let me tell you what you have to do next. So you've seen an organization that has a project that you like to work on. So now what you do is you go to the GitHub repository or GitLab or whatever they use to host the project, and then just go through the README file, right? Just go through it, code practices, whatever. And with this you can get a basic idea of, is this project really for you, can you work on it, right? You'll get a rough idea. And from that, once you know that, okay, this is something that I could work on, right, you'll be like, okay, they're using Swift, fine, I can work on this. Then what you do is clone it, download it, and try to run the project. Okay, try to run the project. And once you run the project, don't get scared. Like once you download the open source project, it's going to be big and you'll eventually be like, oh my goodness, what is this? So don't get scared, download the project and try to understand it. And then what I need you to do is go to issues. In fact, let me tell you, this would be the right way. Go to issues and then check out, is there something that I can work on? This is how I started. I went to the issues and then I was like, okay, let's say this is something that I can work on. Bad temporary thumbnails are being generated. I can work on this. I know how to fix this issue. I know how to work on the pin feature, right? I know how to resolve this pod install error. So this way you will know that, okay, there are some things that you can work on. So start contributing to those basic issues. Okay, you don't have to directly, like, let me give you a difficult one. Let me give you a difficult one. Um, what's going to be difficult? I don't know, man. It just looks easy to me. But okay, whatever. Like if there's something that you don't understand, that's a difficult issue. And if there's something that you understand, that's an easy issue to solve. Okay. So start with easy issues. Start with the ones that you think, okay, this is something that I can work on and resolve it. Right? Like let's open this one. Let's open this one. So as you can see, this is the issue. This is the issue. So go through it, read the issue, and if you want to work on it, then first in your community, whatever platform, just make sure that no one else is working on the issue. Like this happens a lot of time. A person A is already working on something, person B comes and he works on the same issue, shoots a pull request, and person A is like, dude, what the heck, I was working on this. Okay, so you have to make sure that no one else is already working on it. How you do that? In the community, whatever platform you have, IRC, Slack, whatever you use, just ask there, tell them that you're working on this issue, and start and contribute whatever your changes are, like the lines of code that you cooked up to work on that issue. Shoot a pull request, and they'll accept it, and then they'll merge it, and that's going to be one contribution. So this is what I mean by contribution. Okay, students have this question: what is contribution? What does it actually mean? So the contributions are these issues that you solve to begin with. So when you're scrolling through the project, I mean the app, or when you're going through the project, if there's something that you faced, like a new issue, right? You see a bug, then what you can do is you can open a new issue right here. Okay, you can open a new issue and you can write the title, you can write the comment, you can add screenshots, whatever, submit it, and if you know how to fix it, and then shoot a pull request. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what contributions are and how you can contribute to these open source organizations. And also make sure you follow a template. Like there's a template to pull requests. I'm not sure if Amahi has it here. Yeah, Amahi doesn't have any template really, but generally all the organizations, most of them, they have a certain template that you should follow when shooting a pull request. So make sure that you follow it, like what the issue is, how you can replicate the behavior, and things like that. So make sure that you really keep in mind those points, those guidelines, and then contribute. Okay, that's pretty much it. We've talked about contributions, we've talked about organizations, we've talked about proposal writing, we've talked about what Google Summer of Code is, we've talked about everything. And guys, the organization that we're collaborating with today, the link to their organization, Open Web Application Security Project, it's a student chapter at Thapar University, Patiala. So if you want to know about them, the links are in the description. Check them out, and yeah, give them a follow. All right, what else? Now, guys, just give me any questions if you have. They don't have to be related to Google Summer of Code. You can ask anything related to internship or jobs or career, anything, life, anything. Okay, they don't have to be about GSoC. Q&A is the best part of the webinars. In fact, the only reason I do these webinars is for Q&A. Like I can make a video on it. I have made videos on this. I did this webinar last week, but why I'm doing it again is because so that more of you guys can come and ask any questions that you have. Right, so go ahead, ask any questions. And I guess it's been 1 hour almost, so I'll end the webinar. I have to do some stuff, and also tomorrow I guess I'll upload a new video. I've collaborated with another YouTuber, and it's going to be a fun video that I'll upload tomorrow. And I'm shifting tomorrow's interview. I had in mind to interview this girl from Microsoft, but that's all right. We'll do it next week, or we'll invite someone from NASA. I have a lot of people to interview. Like, I just cannot decide whom to have on the show. But yeah, there's going to be an interview next week on Sunday, and new video tomorrow, and there's going to be a new video next week, and so much content. So if you're new, then please make sure that you subscribe. Right, yeah, make sure that you subscribe. And guys, if you're here, if you're attending this webinar, then let me give you a link. You will get a certificate for the webinar. Okay, let me share the link. I'll put it in the comments. There you go. There you go. Just go to this link and fill up the form, and you will get a certificate for the webinar. Okay, you guys love certificate. Come on, man. Every student, every college student just wants to have this collection of certificates. So go ahead, man. Check it out. Check it out. And that's pretty much it. Now, yeah, we do have a question, I guess. Wait, give me a few seconds. And guys, if you're new, if you haven't liked the stream, then please do. It helps a lot. If you think we added value, if you think we solved any of your queries, then please drop a like, so that I get to know if these things are helpful and do them more often. Okay. Okay, so we have one question. Let's just take this question. What was your source for learning iOS? Man, I learned iOS from a lot of places. I started with, I guess, Udemy. Yeah, on Udemy, there's this course by Angela Yu, this boot camp on iOS. And then I did the Udacity Nano degree. I actually put in a lot of money in learning. And then I also subscribed to rayvanderlish.com. You can check out his website. Great platform for iOS for anyone that wants to learn iOS. And that's it. I made projects on I made projects. I learned some things from YouTube. There were so many videos, so many projects. So I just tried to sort of clone them, and that's how I developed my skills. And then I started doing internships, a lot of internships, a lot of projects in iOS. Though now I've left the field, I'm not doing iOS anymore. I'm to product management. But yeah, that's about it. Okay, so I guess that's pretty much it, man, for today's webinar. It's been 1 hour. Thank you for attending. I thank you for attending. It means a lot. Like, you guys can do what you can do. It's lockdown, I believe. Though, guys, are you aware some of the colleges have already opened? I don't understand, but I have three of my friends. Their college have already started. Like, they are having classes these days. I just don't understand. I hope your colleges are off, right? I hope they're closed. I mean, it's crazy. How can these colleges even think of doing classes in this pandemic? Do organizations also look for prior contributions to their org? Well, yes, they do. That's what I told you, man. That's what I said. Organizations, how will they compare two people? They'll see the contributions those people have made to their organizations. Sorry, to their organization. I can't even speak. But yeah, okay. I hope that answers your question. It does matter. So that is why here's the rough plan. I think a lot of people thought that we're ending the webinar and they left the stream. But here's the rough plan. Okay, how you should go about it. So what month is it? Let me see. It's guys, this lockdown has literally flipped everything upside down. But okay, it's June, right? So spend 3 months, July, August, on learning skills, on developing your skills. Okay, 3 months on developing your skills, and then in November or October, November, try to get an internship, do an internship, and then in November, December, start contributing to open source organizations. Now, I started in March, but why I'm telling you to start in November and December is because you will have a 100% chance at clearing GSoC. Okay. And I promise you that if the mentors remember your name, you will crack GSoC easily. And if you've been contributing for a few weeks, they'll definitely remember your name. So that's what I would say. Um, Start contributing in November, December, or you can also start in January. That's fine. But yeah, make 5, 6 major contributions by the time of proposal submission. And in the proposal, write a kick-ass proposal. I have a video on that as well on my channel, how to write a kick-ass proposal for GSoC. Check that out. But now let's take some questions. Um, Can you give some tips on Android app dev learning sources? I cannot give you some tips, but the general tip that I give to everyone is Udemy and Udacity. These places are really good. There are institutes like Coding Blocks. There are a lot of free resources on YouTube. There are a lot of free courses and boot camps on YouTube. You can check them out. And then there's free code camp and websites like that. So yeah, that's what I would say. These are the resources. Now what you can do is check out each and every resource, check out each and every platform, whichever one you enjoy the most, learn from there. Okay, like I did the Udemy course, the Angela U bootcamp when I was learning iOS. But then when I started the Udacity Nano degree, I was like, wow, this is amazing. So that's when I was like, okay, let's drop the Angela course and let's do Udacity Nano degree. But then also I then when I found my internship, I was like so confident I know everything, and then I dropped the Nano degree as well. I didn't really complete any course. I always left them whenever I felt confident enough. Okay, any other question? I want to start with coding but confused with the language selection. Can you suggest me where to start? Yes, I can, Khushi. See, how you start, how you select a language, just ask yourself what is it that you want to do 1 year from now, 2 years from now, after you graduate. But this is what I do. Do like if I think I know I don't want to make websites, like I don't like making websites. Okay, I cannot imagine myself making websites. So that's why, and then I was like, iOS making mobile applications is something I could do. Okay, so then what I did was I checked out Android. I worked in Android, I worked in iOS. Then I was like, okay, iOS really makes me feel like this is something that I could wake up to every day, like, do every single day. So that's what I would say. And also you have to explore, like explore. I always say this. I've spent thousands of rupees in just learning things, right? Machine learning, web, Android, iOS. I've done almost all fields. And when I realized iOS was my thing, then I dived further into iOS. I did internships in iOS. Okay. And then when I've done a lot, now that I've done a lot of things in iOS, I feel like I'm done with coding and I'm going to move to product management, right? So never settle, like the OnePlus motto, never settle. Keep that in mind, keep exploring, keep learning. But for this particular question, think about what you want to do. If you want to make, let's say, Android apps, start with Kotlin. If you want to do ML, start with Python. If you want to get into cybersecurity, I guess Python would be a good place to start. If you want to make iOS apps, start with Swift. So it depends on what you want to do next. Okay, and that's how you should think and go about it. So I hope that answers everyone's questions. Guys, I have to go now. I guess it's been 1 hour. We've covered all topics. We've covered everything. And today, in fact, I showed you this repository GitHub, how you can contribute. This is something we didn't talk about last week. And also, again, go to the link if you want the certificate. Fill up the details, and you'll get it. And that's all, man. That's all. Let's end the webinar. If you're new, please subscribe. Okay. Again, thank you for coming here and attending today's stream. It means a lot. You could be watching Netflix right now. You could be playing PUBG right now. You could be playing Fortnite, but you're here listening to me talk about something, right? And it means a lot. So thank you for that. If you're new, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you don't miss any videos. Don't forget to drop a like, and Q&A we've already covered. Follow me on Instagram at iSwiftChick, because I'm going to be putting out a lot of content there as well. Right. So that's it. Let's end the webinar. Okay, we have more questions. Uh, because I need to get a new laptop. My laptop sucks. Which language is for app development, Kotlin or Java? You can use Kotlin for Android development, like it's not for iOS, obviously. But since it's a new thing, everyone's using Kotlin these days. In fact, I heard, or maybe they've already done it. They've officially like made Kotlin the language for Android again. I did not check it out, but yeah, I know everyone's moving to Kotlin. So I would say start with Kotlin, don't do Java. Okay, though it will be good, man. Java, you can do advanced web, and you can do a lot of things with it, right? But to begin with, start with Kotlin, and along the way you can do Java or anything else. Because see, all these programming languages, they are the same. Syntax. Okay, the only difference is in the syntax. So if you know one language really well, you can learn all the other languages in weeks. If you know Kotlin really well, you can learn Python, Swift, C++, Java in weeks. Not too much time. So pick a language, do it really well, and once you do that, then you can open up your skill set to other technical languages, other field development. Okay, that's pretty much it. That's all. Thank you for attending the webinar. Guys, let's end this. I'll upload a cool video, a fun video tomorrow. So check it out. And that's all from my side. Take care. Thank you for attending the webinar. Peace out. And yeah, bye bye.